All right, Dan, thanks so much. You may have heard, if you've been following the news, the Supreme Court ruled Thursday against President Trump's attempt to end legal protections for hundreds of thousands of immigrants. Greenville attorney Cindy Crick joins us now to help us understand what this means for these immigrants who were brought here to the U.S. as children. Cindy, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, let's start with this, because this could be kind of complicated to kind of walk through. So what does this ruling mean for DACA recipients?
Right now it's sort of business as usual for current recipients, so nothing has really changed. It's sort of a temporary stopgap until the president, as he stated today, tries again.
That's right. The president today saying that he will renew his efforts to go back to the Supreme Court. So see, DACA recipients, this allows them to remain in this country and continue to work. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay.
So they're allowed to not have to be looking over their shoulders and thinking about deportation. It basically allows them to stay, get work permits, be able to work, go to school, and all of those other things.
Okay. So what was the basis for the Supreme Court's decision? They talked a lot in their ruling, but what was at the heart of their decision? It
was interesting because the administration's position was that this was, the implementation of DACA was an abuse of the executive authority and went beyond what they're allowed to do. Congress makes the laws, but that's not really what the court focused on. It was more procedural, and the Administrative Procedures Act requires agencies to follow certain rules when they rescind or create a rule, and they said that the administration simply didn't do that.
Okay, and they were saying that basically, I'm stealing these words from somebody else, but I thought it helped tell the story. They basically didn't show their work.
Right.
They didn't prove to the court enough of why this needed to come to an end.
The court felt that the decision to rescind it was what we call arbitrary and capricious. It wasn't reasonable, and that they didn't fully consider the consequences of the actions. So normally an agency has to explain what they're going to do and why they're going to do it. And in this case, they didn't feel that they did.
Okay, so the DACA program started under President Obama. That was a memorandum. It was not a law.
Right.
But you brought up a good point when we were talking before this. The DREAM Act, that was something that Lindsey Graham really was pushing for in the legislature, but you never saw anything come about it.
Right. Well, and that's the real permanent fix is legislation. That's really what got the ball rolling on creating DACA, is because there wasn't action, there wasn't a law enacted to deal with the issue. So essentially here we are. I worked in the U.S. House for 8 years. There was always talk or some iteration of a DREAM Act, but it never really could get across the finish line. We're in the same situation today. In normal times it's difficult, and was difficult to get anything done on it. In election times, do I think anything would happen? Probably not. I guess where there's a will, there's a way. It's just the question of, is there really a will to do it?
Okay. Since you did bring up your political experience, I am going to ask you to weigh in on this. So today the president came out and, he's against the Supreme Court's decision, obviously. He's going to renew his efforts. Is this something that can take some time? I mean, we have an election right now in November. Do you see this becoming an election year issue for him?
I'm sure it will. It's interesting because we have so many other big issues, different issues, odd issues going on right now, but I think this is going to be a big one because we know he's going to try again. He got the roadmap laid out basically by Justice Roberts on how to do it, so we know it's coming. So I do think it's going to be a pretty big issue.
Okay. Cindy, thanks so much. We appreciate you coming in.
Thank you. I
Have a
appreciate
good
it.
Father's Day with your family.
You too.
Appreciate it. All right. And Carolina's Family at 4. We'll be right back.